So what's the retaliation? China calling this typical bullying, Beijing promising to retaliate. How will it?
So what we've seen so far, Joe, is some retaliatory tariffs, strategic ones, including on U.S. agriculture products and U.S. gas. And I expect that we would see maybe those tariffs would be increased. Perhaps there would be additional tariffs applied strategically to other imports from the U.S. And then, of course, we'll see China rely on the rest of its playbook of things that it can do to retaliate, the playbook that it's been developing since the first Trump administration, which will probably include more announcements about export restrictions or licensing requirements for exports of critical minerals. It'll probably include addition of more U.S. companies to the unreliable entity list. It might include other pressure on specific U.S. companies that are trying to operate in the China market.
Well, so if they're retaliating against the U.S., I do wonder, to the point you were making on opportunities created here, Anna, if it's going to be enticing other trading partners. Who is most likely to have a favorable view toward a trading relationship with China as they're facing this pain from the U.S.? Is it other manufacturing countries, or at least where a lot of manufacturing has gone, like Vietnam and India, which are now facing high tariff rates? Is it the European Union? Is it all of the above?
I think to some extent you could say that it's all of the above, that this will, to the extent that the competition between the U.S. and China and perceptions of China's increasing aggression and territorial claims around its periphery, to the extent that that has been something that other countries have been more and more convinced of in the last 8 years, we may see a lot of those countries start to revise that assessment and look at China as perhaps a partner that is more amenable to relatively free trading than the United States is. I really am curious about how this will play out in the Asia-Pacific region because of what you mentioned, the fact that tariffs that have been announced for countries like Vietnam are even higher than the tariffs that have been announced for China. And of course, a lot of the manufacturing that was producing goods for the U.S. market has moved to places like Vietnam in recent years. Mm-hmm. So that's really going to hurt those countries. And it likely will undermine their sense that the U.S. is a reliable partner, which could in turn undermine U.S. security objectives in the region.